7:01 p.m. Ms. Kovarai, can I get members present, please?
Clayton Koo,
Here.
Marie Brizuela,
Here.
Andrea Jordan,
Here.
Manufo Leah Inga Anuai,
Here.
Maybell Manio.
Here. Okay, thank you, Ms. Kovarai. And is here with us. Mr. Valenti, do you mind leading us in a Pledge of Allegiance, please?
He's just joined us, so maybe somebody else.
Perfect timing.
Or do you want to, Mr. Valenti? Can you
Lead
lead
the
the
Pledge of
pledge?
Allegiance? Sure,
Please.
I'd be happy to.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks.
you. Please rise. All right. Your right hand over your heart. Pledge. I pledge
Pledge
allegiance
allegiance to the flag
of
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God, indivisible,
with liberty and
and
justice
justice
for all.
for all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Valenti. Next, we'll move on to reviewing our governance team meeting guidelines. This is where the governance team members will review the governance team meeting guidelines. Okay, and then we're going to move on to the approval of the agenda.
I'd like to make the motion to approve tonight's meeting agenda, but with an amendment. I put it in the chat to request if we could please add Tewila Tuiasosopo to the name to be honored in closing. She is a grandmother and a mother to JESD and former JESD school board candidate Maurice Tuiasosopo Bell. If that would be all right with you, President Manio.
Okay with me, any objections?
To the,
If you-
that amendment, I make the motion to approve tonight's agenda.
I'll second the motion.
You can go ahead, Trustee Brizuela.
I know, it's just, I can't tell who's going to be talking.
No worries.
Sorry.
Okay, looks like I got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Perfect.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Could I just request Trustee Leina Anoa'i for your assistance when we do that at the end of the night, just because I don't want to butcher the name. So we'll have that one as well as the one that was already previously set for this evening. Okay, great.
Thank you.
We're going to move on to special presentations where the Matua Advisory Council of SF Unified School District, Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander Initiative. The members of MAC will provide an overview of the program currently underway in SF Unified to support Samoan and Pacific Islander students. The presentation will highlight community and educational partnerships as part of the larger mission to close the achievement and opportunity gap. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having us, President Maybell Manio. And so I'm assuming that we will start. Is that correct, Superintendent Bernie? Okay.
Yes, please.
Great. Awesome. Okay, well, Salofa, Malolele, Hulavinaka, Hafade, and Aloha. Fafkaikele lava mole avangoa, which means thank you for this opportunity. My name is Chris Tassi, and I am the SFUSD Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander Coordinator. Thank you, JESD board members, Superintendent Mr. Vidales, and Board President Ms. Maybell Manio for allowing our NH and PI Makua, which means parent, advisory council to be present in this space. We would like to acknowledge the leaders in our community, JESD board member Manufo Anoa'i, and SFUSD board member Commissioner Faunga Molinga. Thank you both for your leadership and commitment to our community. They have worked so hard in providing spaces like this for our voices to be heard. Our SFUSD Makua Advisory Council was created in the fall This is very historical as this is the first NH and PI Parent Advisory Council in our district. The purpose of this group is to establish our parent voices. So just 2 months ago, on a historical evening, our Makua Advisory Council presented to the SFUSD Board of Education members and public. In the presentation, we spoke about who we are, our identity, the challenge of what our students are facing, and what we currently have in place, which is the Fasamo Initiative. This is the same presentation that you will hear and see this evening. Now, I would like to ask Professor Ursula to share your screen of our presentation as she will be advancing our slides. And our Makua members, please keep your cameras on. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to present to you our SFUSD Makua Advisory Council. Please watch this.
Whakatapu ki au toa o ku iho tau haawhanga. Pea malelei ke kainga me he tapa kotoa o mamani. Kai o maaki nau tolu me mua I mua. Our acknowledgements to God in these spaces we are in. Greetings to everyone from all over this world and to our ancestors and ancestors from before so that we may speak. Tulo watu moki mautolu. Excuse us as we present this evening. Maloi lele, thank you Superintendent Bernardo Vidalis, Board President Ms. Mabel Manil, and all board commissioners, families in the audience for the opportunity to share our NH and PI MAC presentation during these very interesting times. Before we start our presentation, there are background pictures in this slide. It's a representation of who we are. You'll see pictures of a lei, which means greeting, honor, and celebration. Tattoos are sacred tribal designs, which means strength, power, and rank. Our traditional ceremonies with songs and dance are oral storytelling that upholds our culture. We are voyagers and navigators of the Pacific Ocean. Next slide, please. On this slide, we have our agenda. We will take you on a journey of where we came from and how we arrived here in San Francisco. This is a historical time in San Francisco where Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander community see someone that looks like them sitting on the board. Special shout out to Trustee Manufo Lia'inga Anua'i for your sacrifices to lead us to this point. We are extremely proud of you and your fearlessness. We also want to honor one of our very own SFUSD Board of Education member, Commissioner Fa'unga Molinga, for his commitment to this work and our community. He's an advocate for our community and a doer of work. We honor and appreciate commissioners, both of you. NHNPI MAC cannot move on this presentation without acknowledging the Ramaytush Ohlone, the original peoples of what is now San Francisco Peninsula. Next slide, please. My name is Ana Mahina. I am of Tongan descent. From Eweki and Tefisi, Vava'u, villages of my mother and father from the kingdom of Tonga. I am a parent of a kindergartner. I've been a member of the PAC, or the Parents Advisory Council, for 3 years now, and currently the vice chair. I am the chair of our first ever SFUSD, Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander Matua or Makua Advisory Council. The word Matua or Makua in Hawaiian, Samoan, and Tongan means parent or elder. Here's a list of our elected members of the MAC. Tonight, we would like to share with you just a snapshot of our community, who we are, where we're from, and I will now pass it over to our MAC Secretary, Tangi Pa'ama, who will talk about who we are as Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander community. Next slide, please.
Ta'alufalava, my name is Tangi Pa'ama. I am the MAC Secretary. I am Samoan and Tongan. My family is from the villages of Whangtongo in American Samoa. Te Pa'a Nupolo, and Mava'o in Tonga. I am a registered nurse at Center Health and a parent to a 5th grader at KIPP Academy and a sophomore at Lowell High School in the San Francisco Unified School District. Today, I will talk a little bit about our geographical location of our Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander ancestors and our homelands. As you can see by this map, our islands are located in the Pacific Ocean that we call Oceania, west of the United States and east of Asia. Each island represents many similar but different cultures, traditions, and languages. We have many of our island people who migrated just for generations. Now, I would like to pass the mic over to Gaynor Siatanga, reasons why our island people migrated. Next slide, please.
Thank you, sis. Good evening, everyone. My name is Gaynor Siatanga. I was born and raised in San Francisco, Mission and Bayview native, also an Sfusd alumni, class of 95. I am a descendant from the Samoan villages of Taputimu and Taunomangongo. I'll be speaking as a parent guardian of an 11th grader at Balboa High School. With this slide, I wanted to give just a snippet into various waves of migration of Samoans and Tongans to the Bay Area. The transmigration narratives to the US NSF, political and formal colonization, military service and other careers, educational opportunities, access to healthcare, religious work, and family reunification. So now I'll turn it over to Dr. Palaita to talk about cultural systematic clashes between Pacific knowledge versus education language. Thank you. Next slide.
Thank you so much, Professor Siatanga. Good evening. I'm Dr. David Ngau'upu Matthew Palaita. I'm an associate professor of Critical Pacific Islands and Oceania Studies at the City College of San Francisco. And my families come from Nu'uli, Pangapango, Aofono in Tutuila, American Samoa, and my lineage also extended to Ofumunu'atele. As a stark proponent of public school education, I am also a proud graduate of Waipahu High School in Hawaii. Formal colonization of Oceania and the Pacific instigates islander migrations to the United States. As the Pacific community settles into the cities and urban areas, it posed both structural and cultural challenges to education in the diaspora. One of the best places to see these challenges are in schools. Educational achievement and limited opportunities for the advancement of Pacifica students are linked to several historic and contemporary issues. Number one, intergenerational trauma from the concept of education itself and the ways in which education was a narrative about violence, forced assimilation, and cultural erasure. As a people whose cultures are rooted in oral traditions, these stories about schools and their impacts on our people are passed down through generations. Our generations today, have internalized and normalized these narratives. Number two, the concept of schooling and our people's ability to practice cultural knowledge shifts from an ocean village approach to one that is about confined spaces. The result has been the stifling of cultural preservation and educational upliftment. Number three, the suppression of indigenous frameworks and ways of knowing are relegated to outdated and inferior practices and are entirely dismissed from Western curriculum structures. If students are aware of the absence of our people in the curriculum, why would they be present in school? Taking these problems all together, the problem is rooted in the absence of a language, a structure, and a teaching tool that is empowering, uplifting, and culturally relevant for Pacific students. I have the honor of turning it over to Silala who will share a snapshot of Pacific Islander students at SFUSD. Next slide, please.
Thank you, Dr. Palaita. Talofa, everyone. My name is Selala Sua Zumbado of Samoan descent. My family is from the village of Mapusanga. My children attend Kip Bay Academy and Miraloma Elementary. I will share about the Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander student demographics in SFUSD. Although we received a list of data, tonight due to time, I'll highlight a few here. Here you will find 965 total Pacific Islanders. Samoan students make up 56% of Pacific Islanders in SFUSD. 70% of Samoan students live in public housing, with a majority living within zip codes 94124, 94107, and 94134. 20% of Samoan students are also receiving special education services. Pacific Islander graduates meeting the UC CSU requirements are low compared to the rest of the district. 80% of our Samoan students were provided technology supplies compared to the other student populations during the pandemic. What this data does not show are the many different islands that are not being represented. Only the Samoan population is being accounted for, and this needs to change. Thank you for listening. Now, I would like to pass it over to Glenn to talk about the 3 keys that our students are struggling with in the school district. Next slide, please.
I apologize. Glenn, we can't hear you, Glenn. Sorry, y'all. I will be speaking in for Glenn. So thank you, Selala. Talofa, everyone. I'm speaking for Glenn's position or space. So Glenn is someone who has 2 kids at SFUSD. So this SFUSD data team helped with this information. So there are 3 key areas that our Pacific Islander students are facing at SFUSD. As you can see on this slide, there are 52% Pacific Islander students. Families in Phase 2A group responded to the in-person learning survey, far below the district average of 73%. Of those respondents, 59% plan to attend in person, close to the district average of 57%. Overall, attendance in the district has remained relatively flat across the past 3 years, even with the switch to distance learning. This is true for students across grade spans. However, Pacific Islander students have experienced declines in average attendance during the first half of the school year. Learning loss in fall 2020 was greater for Pacific Islander students than for any other race and ethnicity on both the reading inventory and math milestone task assessments. Now, I would like to pass it to Teresa to talk about the SFUSD efforts. Next slide, please.
Thank you, Chris. Talofa, everyone. My name is Teresa Perofeta Sangote of Samoan descent. My family comes from the beautiful village of Nu'uli in American Samoa and Fiti'uta Manua. My children attend Burton High School and Galileo High School. I will be discussing what's been done this far at San Francisco Unified Schools District. The FASAMO initiative was passed to build a pre-K to 14 STEM pathway. In the fall, the Matua Advisory Council and our Samoan Advisory Committee was developed. There was a creation of mentoring and tutoring programs, as well as specific study pathways from San Francisco Unified School District to City College of San Francisco. There were also internship opportunities for our Pacific Islander students. Now I would like to pass it over to Now to discuss our requests. Thank you. And next slide, please.
Thank you, Teresa. Maloelele. My name is Asi Pesionau. Everyone calls me Now. Finau is my last name, and I was born in the beautiful kingdom of Tonga. Currently, I live and work in San Francisco, and I have a daughter that attends Willie L. Brown Jr. Middle School. We, as Pacific Island parents, ask that SFUSD continually support the Fa'asamoa Initiative resolution to build a pre-K through 14 STEM pathway that includes a dual language immersion Samoan program and CTE courses. We ask to hire more Pacific Islander educators and social workers in schools with the most Pacific Island students. We will continue to need more hands-on learning opportunities to inspire our students to thrive and be successful if they are to become responsible citizens in our community. Our people have always been skilled with our hands in woodwork and stonework. We would like to continue to instill that gift to our children. In addition, we need SFUSD's videos to be translated into our mother tongue, Samoan, Tongan, and other Pacific Island languages. We ask that SFUSD rename one of the schools in honor of the memories of one of our fearless leader, Tupufia Valentino, whose heart, spirit, and determination started this work for our Pacific Island communities many years ago. May Auntie Tupufia continue to rest in love. Thank you for listening. I would like to pass it over to our chairperson, Anna, to close it out. Next slide, please.
Maloa Pito Now. Aloha Pito, and thank you. To conclude our presentation, we leave you with the quote from Ebeli Hau'ofa, our longtime writer, educator, philosopher in our community. He says, "We shall not be defined by the smallest of our islands, but the greatness of our oceans." Let me say that again. We shall not be defined by the smallest of our islands, but the greatness of our oceans. I am very proud of our MAC, as this is historical, being it is our first ever NHNPI Parent Advisory Council in San Francisco Unified School District. Commissioners, Superintendent, and our allies, thank you for partnering with us. Thank you for allocating this time to our Matua Advisory Council to present during these very rough times. We are hopeful for all of our community to be in solidarity and be in partnership to build a more fair educational system for our students and families. I turn our time back to you.
President and Superintendent Vidales, that concludes our presentation.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Do I have any comments from any of the fellow trustees here? Go ahead, Marie.
Me? Yeah, can you see me? Okay. I want to thank you very much for bringing that. It was wonderful, inspiring, and well needed. So I would like to also see us reach out and follow some of the guidelines that have been presented today. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Would anyone else like to comment? Trustee Jordan?
Yes, I also would like to echo Trustee Brizuela's comments. Thank you so much for that presentation and the education. I am in awe of just the amount of work that you put into that. I think there's a lot of things that I did not know before today, and so I appreciate you educating me and everyone that is on this call today, because we need it. And I agree in terms of we should be working seamlessly together. We are sister cities and working together to figure out how we can incorporate that into our curriculum and into our processes here in the Daly City Jefferson Elementary School District. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Laina Amwai.
I get emotional, as you guys know, but I'm not going to cry tonight because I'm not going to do that. We've already had a heavy day yesterday across the nation and around the globe. And this is why this is needed. Because when instances like yesterday impact us and keep us heavy in the loss of life, it's times like this that we're allowed to reflect on the good work. And I'm so happy that you guys were able to accept JESD's invitation to come and present. It's quite difficult to give a snapshot of an ocean in such a short time. But what it has done for our district is that it allows us to be able to learn and receive nuggets of wisdom of how you are lifting this work up. We also have, our trustee, our honorable trustee, Tahara, who's coming onto this meeting from the high school district. This is an opportunity to learn from your wisdom, because this didn't just happen overnight. A lot of this took not just prayers, but a lot of sweat equity and investment that we want to learn from so that we can do this right. We have Professor Palaita on this call, who's been invested in this work for many years. And I'm so proud to see him extending these efforts to San Mateo Foster City. And that's why we know that the work that you guys are doing at SFUSD is being welcomed here in San Mateo County. As Trustee Jordan said, we are sister cities. We are the gateway to the county from San Francisco. And many times we want to learn and replicate the good work that's happening there. So I'm honored. I'm deeply honored. We have Commissioner Fa'unga, who's recently been appointed as the Vice President to SFUSD Board of Education. That is ethnic studies. Seeing all of your faces tonight, all of your beautiful brilliance, the brown faces that represent many of the communities and the conversations that we are rarely a part of, that is ethnic studies. So we want to learn from you all. Thank you so much, Superintendent President Manio, for allowing us to share this space. And the work continues, and we hope that we will be able to partner in sharing the communities that need to be elevated in these conversations and bringing our communities from our neighborhoods into our classrooms. And also, as you mentioned, Sister Tupia, who's done this work, and I had asked to close this meeting out in honor of Tewila, her mother, Nofoi Luma Tuyasosopo, for many years in San Francisco Unified and throughout the Bay Area. She was a warrior and trailblazer that lifted this work up. And she came before myself and Sister Tupufia, and how fitting to honor her daughter tonight in closing. So thank you all for joining us. Thank you for representing our ocean and letting people know that we aren't just a small dot in the sea that we come from, but the ripple of the love that we continue to share through education in our community is deeply felt, such as nights like this. Malo lele, malo fafetai, malo le tautua. I'm so proud. Malo le fa'aea. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you, Trustee Laina Anawai, for your heartfelt words. Trustee Koo, did you have any comments?
I don't know how to follow that up, but I just wanted to say thank you for the presentation. It was great to see the work that SFUSD is doing and sort of things that we can replicate as a district. So just kind of look forward to see what we can do as we move forward. And just thank you again so much for the presentation tonight.
I'd like to echo that. Thank you, MAC, for your time and for the presentation and showing us, you know, the unique contributions for considering how to engage Pacific Islander students, especially within the district's diversity. The Pacific Islander experience parallels other ethnic minorities, so this is important. And I also wanted to send a congratulations to, I believe you guys are called commissioners, right? Commissioner Malinga on your VP seat. We're so happy for you, proud that you guys can be here tonight with us, and definitely look forward to hopefully collaborating with you, working together with you guys, since we are neighboring districts. Thank you again for being here tonight.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. That was great. So moving on, we're going to move on to 7A, board member acknowledgements and commendations. Does anybody want to go first? Does anybody want to go?
I don't have any commendations. I thought Trustee Koo, who's always got so many events that he shares. I just want to say that I'm glad to see that our vaccinations are happening and that access is being created throughout North County. There are a lot of people to thank that are providing that opportunity. And I really want to commend our teachers and our staff and our families. It's been difficult to come back to the classroom. You know, we know there's rumblings, but we also know that there's a level of gratitude, and it takes everyone to be able to do this. Whether we're impacted by exposure or impacted by COVID, the reality is we have to find some way to move forward. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who's been able to make that happen, and to just continue to wish you strength, you know, and faith, and let us remain hopeful to get through these days. I mean, all we can do is try and put our best foot forward. So I want to thank all of our administrators, our district, our staff, and the families for entrusting your children to us during this time. And it's great to be back. It feels good to see everyone after spring break. And a special shout out to Trustee Tejada. It's so nice to see you with us tonight.
Thank you, Trustee Laina Noa'i. Anyone else?
Sure, I'll go. Piggybacking off of what Ms. Leagianway says, I did actually attend a meeting last night. I actually attended the PIAC meeting with Dr. Joyner to talk about a review of the Lcap. So just want to thank Dr. Joyner and everybody who attended that. I think it was a really good conversation, especially on sort of trying to help her and her office sort of clean up the document before it comes to us as board. I also attended a school pizza fundraiser today in Mod Pizza. I had my fair share of pizza.
What flavor?
It was one of the custom pizzas. You can put whatever you want on the pizzas. So yeah.
No veggies.
There's veggies. That was it. President Money.
Anyone else?
Well, I'd just like to thank everybody who's working hard to get our schools running and everybody settled in place. And now that we have our vaccinations, which I got mine, people can feel safer, healthier, and let's just move forward. Everything gets better and better and better as we move on. Thank you to everyone who's had something to do with making us go ahead.
Yes, I actually don't have much commendations. I also want to echo everyone's sentiments and thankful to the teachers and our staff on site for reopening in such a graceful way. I know it's hard, and I just want to thank you all for all that you're doing and are continuing to do for our students in our community. I also wanted to give a shout out to DCPLA. They had a great event on Saturday that I attended. It was just an honor to see our students in our community come together and choose our first Youth Poet Laureate. So congratulations to those students as well. And then also I wanted to thank the DCPLA and the library for all that they're doing in our community throughout the pandemic. Pickups are still happening. I actually picked something up for my youngest the other day, a garden kit. They have a launch, like a little launch pad that allows, toddlers between the ages of 3 and 5. And so if you haven't visited the library, there's so many free resources. Please take advantage of it. This country is going through so much, and you have to find the light. And I feel like those little things, the little positive things that you can find the light in, that's what you need to go and work towards. And so I'm hoping everyone is trying to find the light during these dark times.
Absolutely, I agree. It's all about, getting to that silver lining this entire past year. I do want to give a special shout out to Principal Higgins and Vice Principal Burke at FDR. Former President Shaquille Ali and I have been talking about a project that the County of Education is now, County Office of Ed is now spearheading, and we plan to pilot at FDR with the 8th graders there. It's an urban ag program. So hopefully we can get to a little bit of a kind of a mass farming situation out there bordering Pacifica. The school is predominantly kids of color. And I'm just so happy that we can pilot this program. And I hope that I can announce when we are starting that soon to come. It's a lot of stakeholders involved, which I'm so proud of that it's finally getting off the ground. And I just wanted to give a special shout out to especially Vice Principal Burke, who I think the district is very, very blessed to have around. So just wanted to commend the folks over there, and as well as all the other schools with the reopening. I've been hearing that it's as smooth as can be. And as we continue to reopen, I'm sure we'll hear more words from Superintendent Vidales about that. So since I mentioned that, why don't we get to the superintendent comments if no one else has anything to say?
Thank you, President Manio and trustees. Yes, you're right. The focus of the last 3 to 4 weeks has been on safely reopening our schools. And, as many of you have mentioned, a huge shout out to our school staffs and our administrators for the great outreach efforts that they've put out over the last 3 to 4 weeks, educating our students and our families about what it means to come back to school in a pandemic and how we need to behave to be safe and stay safe. So I just want to thank staff for all of that. I think I may have shared with you some snippets and videos of different ways that schools reached out to their communities. Because I am not a school staff person to visit schools, and we are being really good about restricting access to the school sites to just school staffs for now. I had a school principal send me photos of first day of reopening across the district, and I just put together a little slideshow that I want to share with you so that you can also see what happened. We had 4 first days of school so far, 2 last week and 2 this week, and we have 2 more coming up next week for our 8th graders. So let me just share my screen so we can watch this together. I think this should work. Yeah, so those are just some
That's
pictures,
great. Thank you.
from across the district. I got many more, but we didn't have enough time for all of them. But yeah, like I said, we have 2 more first days of school for our 8th graders next week. We have our preschoolers, as you saw there, all the way through our 7th graders back in school. And it's just been, it's been great to hear students again, from my office. I used to, we're right next to Thomas Edison and Fernando Rivera. And now to be able to hear students and see them get to school and walk home, it's just, this is why we do this work. And especially for those of us who are no longer teaching in the classroom, we would get that from seeing the students, as we get in and out of our cars, or we see them walking outside our office windows. So that's been neat. And again, thank you to the board for safely guiding us through this pandemic, for approving the safety plan, for supporting us as we moved back into this, and for all the staff and the work that went into reaching out to families and to students. It paid off. And we just hope we can continue schooling safely in these last 6 weeks of school. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Vidales. And thank you for sharing those slides with us. It was really great to have the visual as well. Before I move on to 8A, I just wanted to say welcome to Trustee Tejada from our sister district here. Thank you for joining us this evening. On agenda item 8A, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Hear me? All those in favor say aye. There's a motion in a second.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. That was unanimous. On to 8C, Resolution 210421, National and California Day of the Teacher. The administration recommends adoption of Resolution 210421, recognizing May 4, 2021 as National Teacher Appreciation Day, and May 12, 2021 as California Day of the Teacher. Any discussion? If not, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve Resolution 210421, the National and California Day of the Teacher, and Resolution, let's see, oh, that's just one resolution. Okay, and what I would like to say, I also want to say congratulations and to thank all our teachers and all those that are in this group that we want to honor for what they do for our students and education.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Great. Motion, resolution was passed by unanimous vote. On to number 8B, resolution number 2104-21A, National School Nurse Day. The administration recommends adoption of resolution number 2104-21A, designating May 12 as National School Nurse Day.
I don't know if there's a year where it's more important to recognize this day than this year.
I was
but,
gonna say, yeah.
It always, it does always fall into that Educator Appreciation Week, and we have recognized this for many years past. But I think this year it's just extra special to have
Sure.
that kind of medical knowledge, at just a phone call away, for administrators, for teachers, school office staff. So we appreciate our nurses for sure.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution number 2104-21A, National School Nurse Day, and to express our appreciation to all of our nursing staff and all those who help our students and our employees.
Second the motion.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, that resolution was passed by unanimous vote. Thank you to our teachers and our nurses. Moving to 8A, Citizen Bond Oversight Committee Annual Report. Ms. Rosie Tejada, Chair of the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee, will present their annual report to the board. Ms. Tejada.
Good evening, Superintendent Vidalis and the esteemed board. And Clayton, Carly does not say hi. That's a joke we have. I also want to thank the board and the district for adjourning your meeting in honor of my father. I was very touched by that, and it was very much appreciated. And I know you're going to adjourn this meeting in honor of Tuila Tuiasosopo, who was the PTSA president at Westmore when my son started there. And I had the honor to work with her. She was extremely vibrant. She knew how to get things done. I learned so much from her. And I'm very sad to hear of her passing. She was the boss, and it was a great experience working alongside her at in the PTSA. Let's see. So I'm going to present the report. As required by the statutes and bylaws of the Measures I and U bond election and Measure T parcel tax election, the Citizens Oversight Committee is pleased to provide our annual report to the Board of Trustees of the Jefferson Elementary School District.
Easy mistake, easy.
Yes, I know. Members of the committee are Tony Bayudan, Pamela Di Giovanni, Thomas A. Norris, Lillian Pena, Marian Seki, Rosie Tejada, and Adrian Zanini. On November 18th, 2020, the committee met to review current Measure I and U expenditures and discuss the progress of the Franklin D. Roosevelt New Classroom and Restroom Wing, the Fernando Rivera New Classroom and Restroom Wing, Security Camera Project, the Central Kitchen Walk-in Freezer, Student Drop-Off at Garden Village, Student Drop-Off and Staff Parking at Westlake, Student Drop-Off and Staff Parking at Fernando Rivera and Thomas Edison, Fencing at Benjamin Franklin and Garden Village, and the Workforce Housing Project. Rosie Tejada was elected by the committee to continue as committee chair for an additional year. Adrian Zanini was elected to continue for an additional year as vice chair, and Lillian Pena was elected by the committee to continue for an additional year as secretary. On March 3, 2021, the committee met to review current expenditures and discuss the progress of the Franklin D. Roosevelt New Classroom and Restroom Wing, the Fernando Rivera New Classroom and Restroom Wing, Benjamin Franklin and Garden Village fencing, security camera systems, central kitchen walk-in freezer, student drop-off at Garden Village, student drop-off and staff parking at Westlake, safety improvement at Marjorie H. Tobias, Woodrow Wilson and M. Pauline Brown, roofing at St. Susan B. Anthony, renewing of the soccer field at Susan B. Anthony and Thomas R. Policita, and the Workforce Housing Project. Additionally, the committee reviewed the annual independent financial and performance audit reports for Measures I and U as presented by Ahmad Garabay, partner with Aid Bailey LLP. The committee then reviewed the 2019-20 parcel tax expenditures to determine if the expenditures were in line with Measure T ballot language. Based on a review and observations, the Citizens Oversight Committee finds that the district is in compliance with the requirements of Article 13A, Section 1B3 of the California Constitution, and that Measures I and U bond funds are being used for the purposes specified in the ballot languages. Additionally, the committee finds that the 2019-2020 Measure T parcel tax expenditures are in line with the associated ballot language. The committee is pleased with the district's performance on the modernization bond program to date and looks forward to the successful completion of the 2021 projects. Respectfully submitted, Rosie Tejada, Chair. And that's all.
Thank you.
I commend the district for continuing to grow despite this pandemic. We're all working together. You know, our school district has been, we just started back as well in person. But as we all know, our schools have been open just remotely. And our schools have never been closed. Our teachers have always been teaching, all of our teachers, our district, your district. I mean, we're a big family. It's just how I look at it. I just have to commend JESD for continuing to provide for the students and families in such a big way, and to keep these projects going, to keep them going during this time. And especially workforce housing. Good luck. I'm pulling for you on that. Thank you very much.
Are there any comments from fellow board members?
No.
Yes, Trustee Laina Anawai.
I just want to say thank you. When I was in PTA at MP Brown, that was my first time meeting Trustee Tejada, and she was one of the first people to spark my interest while I didn't jump into the race to take this seat, but her leadership definitely was defining for me. And here you are still serving, wearing a hat here, wearing a hat there at the high school level. And I just want to say thank you. Many of us look to you and your strength, even as you face trials and adversity and loss. You still continue to be courageous. And I just want to say thank you for your example. And many times I'm sure that you don't get to be thanked enough. I believe that. I believe that many of us don't appreciate you more vocally. And I just want to say that I am grateful for you. So thank you for your leadership.
Thank you for your acknowledgement. And I could say the same about you. I remember when you were sworn in and you just lost your mother. That's courageous. And you've been through a lot this year, as we all have. Ms. Jordan, you have suffered loss. I was there for you as well. This is an incredible group of people I'm looking at right now. And I want to thank you for being friends to me.
I also wanted to say thank you to Trustee Tejada for that presentation, and also to put on the record that she is one of the main reasons why I sit on this board today. And so I do want to thank her for her leadership, for everything that she's done, not only for myself, but for our community. And I look forward to continue to working with you to make sure that our community is the best that it can be for the now and for the future to come.
I look forward to that as well. Thank you, everybody.
I also wanted to thank Ms. Tejada for the presentation, and also for all she does for our community. Also want to just thank everybody on the committee, Tony Bayudan, Pamela Giovanni, Tom Norris, Lillian Pena, Marian Secchi, and Adrian Zanini for all they do. I know it's a volunteer position and such, so I just want to thank them for taking time out of their busy lives to help our district as well too.
Anyone else? Trustee Brizuela?
Oh, yes.
Any
Oh, I thought I already said something, but I'll say it again. Thank Rosie for all that she does. And I remember her from way back when. Having served on our school board for as long as I have, I guess I got to meet everybody when they first started off and watch them grow too. And it's kind of exciting to see them. I think I've met all of you at one time or another, and I appreciate all the interest all of you have, and hope that many of you will stay with us for a long time, because we need people that are rooted to continue to grow and grow and grow. That's why we like to keep our superintendent too, right? 'Cause we grow and grow together. But it's a team effort, by the way. It's a team effort for everybody to work, engage together. And I think that we're doing that as a district. And I'm very pleased with what we've done throughout the years. And I think we should make a movie. No. How to run a school district. Anyway, but thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, fellow Madam President Rosie Tejada, for all of the work that you do in your district, as well as with ours, with the committee and all of the members of the committee that had to do with this report. We appreciate your time being here. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Good to see all of you.
Yeah, if I can just say a word here. So yeah, thank you, Mr. Hada, for your leadership on the committee and for assembling such a group of community leaders on the Citizen Oversight Committee. I think that's that the community's knowledge and respect for the members of the committee really lends credibility to the report. That you're not just rubber stamping what the district does, you're asking questions, you're checking back at ballot language, and you're just verifying that the district is operating under the authorization granted to it by our voters. So thank you for serving in that capacity, and for all of the other team members who serve in that capacity alongside you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you again. We're going to move on to item 9C. The Lcap, the Local Control Accountability Plan Update number 2. Dr. Heidi Joyner, Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services, will provide an update on the progress that has been made in writing the new Local Control Accountability Plan. Good evening, Ms. Joyner.
Good evening, everyone. Let me share my screen. Can you all see that? Yeah. Great. So good evening, everyone. I am here to update you all on our planning for our most current LCAP. And this is, as board president said, our update number 2. So just as a reminder, our LCAP establishes our vision for improving the outcomes for all of our students, and it establishes the means on how we're going to provide access and opportunity for all of our JESD students, and our LCAP ensures equitable practices in support of all of our students. And we've been working really hard to ensure all of this in our LCAP, and I think we are doing a great job. So just to review our LCAP goals, goal 1 is to improve student learning outcomes and skills to prepare them for college and career. We do have a new goal this year, and goal 2 is to improve the academic success of our English learners. Goal 3, build upon a district culture that promotes professional learning opportunities for staff to learn, develop, and master the skills necessary to educate JESD students, to prepare them for college and careers, and the recruitment and retention of qualified staff. Goal 4, sorry about that, provide a positive school climate for students, staff, and families, which includes safe, secure, accessible, and efficient classrooms, facilities, and grounds. And goal 5, promote the district's successes, challenges, and initiatives to better engage and encourage broader community involvement in all JESD schools. So we have been working diligently on these 5 goals. In our previous update, I provided you with this timeline, and the dates that have been highlighted in blue are all of the dates that we have been working on the LCAP and have held all of these meetings and reviewed the goals. Yesterday, as Trustee Koo said, we had our PAC meeting, which we hold monthly. And we also hold, the PAC meeting, of course, is for our parent involvement. So we hold the PAC meeting monthly, and then we also hold the Lcap committee meeting, which is made up of JESD staff, and we hold that committee meeting monthly as well. So we have a hand from all stakeholders who are providing support in drafting this plan. And so we do have a few more dates this month where we'll be working, and then May, and then June is where we bring it to the board for public comments and hearing, and then approval. So again, PAC committee and the Lcap committees have met monthly to review and discuss the contents of the Lcap. And, it makes it very hard to do in a virtual environment. So we've had to be creative and use good old online teaching skills, which we've been using Jamboards and various modes to get the community and our committee members to provide feedback. And we've been looking at data each time that we are providing feedback, so that we are all very informed around the data for the district. And that's how we've been getting our feedback. And so we also provided an opportunity for all staff to provide feedback. So we posted the Lcap for about a week and a half, and all staff members were able to review it and provide feedback through a Google form. And we have now posted the draft on our website, and an email was sent out, I believe yesterday or the day before, to all families to do the same thing, provide feedback. So the Lcap is posted on our website, and there is a feedback form so that families and the community can take a look at it and provide feedback on each section. And that will stay up until April 30th. And so here's just a little bit of some of the feedback that we've been receiving. We have a feedback around appreciation of the new goal focused on English learners. Staff would like more time, district time to collaborate and plan. And we've actually gotten some feedback from the community asking about the time that we provide for teachers to plan. They'd like district funded TIG teachers at every site. There were questions about how we determined our outcome goals for CASP and FastBridge. There's an appreciation of the UDL training. We've been providing Universal Design for Learning training since January each month. And so we did get really positive feedback around the UDL training. More funding for music and arts. Appreciation of systematic ELD curriculum and training, which we are proposing in the Lcap. And lots of questions on other alternatives to state testing. So this is just a culmination of feedback. We do have good feedback, and we are speaking to all of these in the Lcap. So one of the things we do want to say is the number of families that move, as we know, and leave JESD has a direct impact on our funding. And so because of the number of families that are moving, we have a significant reduction in our funding. And so as we go forward and plan with this knowledge, we include actions that may say explore or investigate in case there might be a possibility to use additional funds when and if they are received. So we don't want to count things totally out due to funding. And so we say explore or investigate so that when we do get funding, possibly that we then can provide those actions. And I think that's it. So I will stop sharing. Any questions?
I just want to say thanks for the presentation, Dr. Turner. Having been in a lot of those meetings and conversations. I would say, I think the PIAC group, and especially just all these groups in general, sort of help make the LCAP what it is, sort of providing those different perspectives. And I think it makes our proposed and potentially approved LCAP a lot more fruitful in terms of like perspectives and information. So just want to thank you for that, and thank everybody for all the work that they've done to like help make the LCAP what it is so far.
Thank you. And I just want to appreciate Mr. Koo. He's been at every meeting and he gives really great feedback. I put all of the people into different breakout rooms and they work on different aspects, and I pop in and out of the rooms and totally engaged in the process. And it's harder to do virtually than when we were working on it last year face to face, but still great conversations that are being had. And so I really just want to say thank you for coming each time. There's a small but mighty group that attends consistently, and then we do get people to pop in and out, but there's a small mighty group, and Mr. Koo is one of those on that group. So thank you so much.
Thank you, and I will attest to the small and mighty group. And there's a lot more stuff to do out there, especially as things open up, to see that people actually still come to these meetings. I have admiration for them that they're willing to actually come to every meeting as well too.
Just want to say thank you as always, Dr. Joyner. Appreciate all your work and your leadership. Truly do. Thank you.
Thank you.
I also want to extend my appreciation to you, Dr. Joyner, as well as Trustee Koo, for always representing the board in the way that you do. Thank you again, Dr. Joyner, for the presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, if no other comments, we will move on to item 13. Persons wishing to address the board on unagendized or closed session items. Do we have any comments?
Yeah, I believe we have one comment, at least one comment. Mr. Koo, do you have that ready?
Yes, let me pull that up right now. Yep, I have it up whenever we're ready.
Eddie.
Cool. So one comment from Jonathan Wall, community member. The comment reads, I noticed that Marie Brizuela and Manufo Liaga Anawai have missed a number of board meetings. How can we make a vote on important topics if they haven't been informed? This is concerning and makes me question their dedication to the position. And that's it.
That's the only comment, Trustee Koo?
Yeah, that's a comment.
Okay, got it. If nothing else for that agenda item, then we'll move to number 14, governance team member comments, reports, and board meeting reflection. Would anyone like to go first? Trustee Jordan.
Yes, I just wanted to thank everyone who presented tonight. I think I learned, number one, a lot of things today, not only about what's happening in our community, but all of the great things that everyone on this board is doing to make sure that our community and our students are just welcome back during this time. And so the meeting went great. I'm really excited for what the future holds, and I'm hopeful for some positive lights at the end of this COVID tunnel. So thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Koo?
Sure, I'll go next. It was a good meeting, nice and quick. I can't complain about that. Also, I have an upcoming CSB Delegate Assembly meeting in a couple weeks, so I will report what we talk about at that meeting.
Great, thank you. Trustee Laina Anawai.
I appreciate us being able to hear from SFUSD and what it does for me, it just continues to welcome other opportunities to speak to other districts and what they're doing as we continue to open up during this time. I love being able to share and hear from other partners in this work. So I actually would love to see and hear maybe from other districts that we can highlight and things that we might be able to add to what we're trying to do as we close out this year and we open up for next year. I think that's what my takeaway for tonight is that I bet there's a lot of other great things happening around us that one, because of COVID, and other just we haven't really been able to engage in those kinds of conversations. Those, I think, sharing of bright spots would be a welcomed opportunity down the road. And I appreciate, I know we don't talk about a lot of the things that come to the table, but and we did hear a comment this evening, and I know that that's part of this work, is being held accountable. And I appreciate the comments that hold us accountable. And I appreciate the level of flexibility to share, you know, when people know I'm not here. Unfortunately, life gets in the way, but at the end of the day, we all decided to run for the seats that we sit in, and we need to be held accountable. So I welcome that opportunity. I've been very open to that on social media as well. And I love that I know that my fellow board trustees share that same dedication and respect for this opportunity, which I don't take lightly. So I want to thank the comment that was received this evening, and wish you all well, and then that we continue to be safe during these times. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to go?
I guess I'm next. I don't know. I just want to say, having served on the school board 40 years, I have very seldom have ever missed a meeting unless it was due to an illness. So if I've missed a meeting, had nothing to do with wanting to do something else, haven't gone to gave it up to go out chasing around someplace or doing fun things, it would be due to an illness. So I would like to make sure that that's being understood by those that wonder why I missed a meeting. So I think I've been a very dedicated school board member, and I'm proud of it. And I think there's a lot of people that will agree with that. So I just wanted to clear that up. So I think we had a great meeting tonight. We had some really wonderful things that we're proud of this school district. And I'm very proud of Jefferson Elementary School District and always will be. And thank you to everyone who has helped to make this great. Some of you have said some wonderful things, and I agree with you 100%. So with that, I will say good night.
Thank you, Trustee Busquela. By the way, we don't actually see you anymore. Just FYI.
Yes.
Your camera's on, but it's not on your face.
Oh, what happened? I'm not on you. I'm not on there.
We see Elvis, like it tilted up.
Well, I took my Elvis shirt off tonight because I didn't want you guys to say anything. No, I thought I was on.
If you would just tilt your camera down probably half an inch, I think we'd see you again.
There
you go.
Wait,
There
you know what?
are.
It won't stay down. That's why.
Okay.
I didn't
All right.
realize it went up. Okay. Sorry, but I'm here.
Yeah, we see you. We see the top of your head.
The top of my. Maybe I should stand up. No. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I thought.
No problem.
It's okay. If no other comments from any other trustees, I just want to say, you know, we ran for these seats to express what the changes that we wanted to see, not to impress.
Yeah.
These meetings are recorded and can be reviewed at any time by anyone who has internet access. And so when we do miss meetings, especially last fall when I had to miss a meeting because of surgery, I was able to view the meetings and catch up and figure out what's going on, see what's coming in the future ahead of time. So it's difficult for us to miss a beat even when we're absent. I just wanted to express
Thank you.
that. So, you know, we work for a cause, not applause. And I know sometimes it's good to hear the gratitude by people. So I just wanted to express my appreciation to my fellow board members, all of our administrative staff, and the community at large within our district, and staying and sticking with us throughout these times. I do want to close this meeting out in honor of Margarita Tom, mother of Ronald Tom, who is the custodian at Daniel Webster and Westlake Elementary Schools. And I know that we also want a moment of silence for Trustee Leina Anawai, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. Thank you. I'd be more than happy to, if we could also add to the list in honoring Sulu Sulu Mai Vaisa Te Wila Fulu Tuyasasopo, former PTSA member, Thomas Edison, a grandmother and mother, and as also shared by Trustee Tejada, was the PTSA president at Westmore High School in the past. She was also a wonderful team mom. She supported a lot of the sports programs throughout Daly City before she became ill and lost her battle to cancer. And I'm so honored that, unfortunately for me, the last time I got to see my dear cousin was at that meeting, that we, were able to celebrate her granddaughter. And time is so precious. We just never know. And we celebrate her life this Friday. And the work that she grew up in was the work that her mother bestowed upon her and me. So I appreciate the opportunity to honor her and take a moment of silence this evening.
Thank you. So we'll have a moment of silence. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much, everybody, and all of our administrators and fellow board members. I will close this meeting at 8:20 p.m.
We're not closing this meeting. We're going to go into closed session. So,
Closed session.
yes. Do you want to say that, take a break here and we'll join back closed session at 8:30?
Is that enough for everybody?
Yeah, Mr. Smith, if you would keep the room open, that would be great.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thank
Night.
you.
Dr. Joyner.
So we'll come back together at 8:30 then.
Okay, see you at 8:30.
Yeah.
Don't turn it off. Just put it on mute and stop video. Thank you.